So welcome back to my channel. This is Dom, and a Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope you had a wonderful festive period if you managed to get one. I certainly did. Spent the day with my two daughters, which was fantastic. Now they're grown up. It's don't see them together very often, and it was lovely to spend time with them and my wife, and we had a great day. Really nice, relaxed day. Didn't exceed in any department, which was great, because I feel fantastic today, Boxing Day, when I'm filming this video. Anyway, I thought everyone else is doing their haul videos, and I thought I would do the same, but also talk about some of my plans and New Year's resolutions, I guess. I don't really do New Year's resolutions because, as everybody knows, I have zero willpower. And so I can say I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, or I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z, and I'm not going to keep to it. So, but I have a couple of plans that I want to work through this year, and I also want to be a little bit more disciplined about what I do to a degree. Anyway, first up, let's look at some of the gifts I was given over the festive period. I was a very lucky boy, as usual. Let's start with the toys. So I got these some gripping beast Thorikiti, I think they're called. They are the armoured peltasts that were used in a lot of Successor armies. As you know, I'm sort of tinkering with the Saga Age of Alexander book. Not sure how much I'm going to play it, but I do love the period, and it gave me an excuse to start painting up some figures from the sort of ancient period again. So I've got 2 packs there that will of 8 figures, which basically is a point in Age of Alexander or an E-Saga army, and also lots of bits, which worries me slightly, but that's the Scythe Chariot, which also the Age of Alexandrian Successor armies can use. And as you know, if you've been following the channel, I've been doing Successor force. Actually, the armies I'm really fascinated by are the Bactrians and the Antigonean forces, but I'll probably do Seleucids because they're slightly easier to use in the rules, I think, have slightly more options. Anyway, there you go. That'll be fun to put together. I have made one of these many years ago, and I do remember it was a bit of a biatch to put together. So, could be interesting, but there you go. Super glue and activator is going to be definitely needed. So that's my Saga force. Now, I wasn't really planning to get into any more. Actually, no. I wasn't really planning to do a huge amount more Napoleonics, not in terms of massive forces. I was actually thinking my sort of resolution or plans for the year was to sort of round out some of my Napoleonic forces, finish painting up some of the stuff I've got, and just sort of look, you know, like I know I need a few Hanoverian units, for instance, if I'm going to do a Waterloo period army. I need a few more units there. My Prussians, I need some more landwehr, that kind of stuff. I need, you know, just adding in the odd unit here and there. But then I got given these, so I got a Bavarian army obviously coming now. So this is the Victrix Bavarian pack, 58 28mm plastic figures, and I know these are awesome. I've seen so many people do them and paint them up, and they just look amazing. So Bavarian faction coming. I'll probably do a Bavarian division. I think that probably makes sense for Black Powder or General d'Armée, and I may do what I normally do, which I don't know. I might make some sort of skirmishable so I can use them for sharp practice if I wish. And also, I got some more French Imperial Guard Lancers. Now, I've already had this pack. I turned them into my Cleveberg pink and white, or pink and green Lancers, which I love doing. I mean, they were a bit fiddly to put together, but they were all right, actually. I did enjoy making them. But I think this will tip me over the edge into doing a Polish force for Napoleonic period. I have got some metal Polish figures. I've also got a box or 2 of the Polish Vistula figures from Warlords. So I might just turn these into Polish Lancers and do a Polish brigade. So Bavarian and Polish brigade on the way. But slightly more alarming for me anyway is these turned up. So this is a Victrix pack of Middle Guard. Yeah, what to say about this? I had zero plans to do this. I have got some old guard in my French force. I've also got plenty of infantry. I do not have any middle guard, and so maybe that's what I'll have to turn these into. Well, they are supposed to be middle guard, so middle guard. There's 60 models in here. Holy smoke, that's a lot of miniatures. Yeah, so it looks like there's some middle guard going to be done this year, or in 2023. So Bavarian brigade, a Polish brigade, and some middle guard. Oh dear. Anyway, let's have a look at the reading material. I was again very fortunate. I mentioned before on the channel how I'm very interested in the Successor period of the Hellenistic era, the period after Alexander dies, and a lot of his generals and former commanders all scrabble to try and either establish their own empires or maintain the empires or the lands that they've taken. And one of the greatest of these was Antigonus One Eye. Amazing character. He was one of Alexander's generals, and he probably became the closest to sort of re-establishing the empire. At one point he was by far the biggest Successor general, and him and his son Demetrius the Destroyer took control of large swathes of Alexander's old empire, and it was only really that all the others ganged up on him, so like Xenimachus, Ptolemy and Seleucus, amongst others, all sort of ganged up on him, and there was a massive battle where Antigonus was killed. Sorry, spoiler alert. Antigonus was killed. I think at that stage he was something like 80 years old or something, as is suggested. He only had one eye, and he fought in the pike. He fought in a phalanx, and he went down fighting. In that battle he was killed, and his son succeeded, and managed to escape with the bulk of the cavalry, and went on to have his own illustrious career. Never quite managed to get to the same levels as his father, but fascinating story. And I mentioned it before, if you're into that period, Elephant and Castle by Alfred Duggan follows Demetrius the Destroyer and his sort of adventures, because he was, after that battle, he was a landless kind of lord who had loads of followers but no territories control, and he went on to be a pirate and various other things, and he re-established an empire of his own, well, a nation of his own. It wasn't quite an empire. Fascinating stuff, but it all starts with Antigonus. So this is a book by Jeff Champion. I saw it being advertised and I dropped some subtle hints, and I thought I really want to read this, so that's on my reading list, so looking forward to that. And another Successor one, this is Pericles' years. So this again is looking at some of the Successor states, looking through some of the sort of immediate period after Alexander's death, what happened, the different campaigns there were, the different factions fighting it out. And I think this looks really interesting. It's a nice bitty, short read sections, which is, as I call them, typical sort of bog reading. When you're sitting on the loo and you want something to read, you can just read a section or two at a time. Drives my wife mad, but I really enjoyed it. Nice and quiet. Bactrian revolts. I love the Bactrians. Don't know why. Always have done. Anyway, another interesting book, and I will look forward to reading this too. Yeah, there's that. And then my daughter bought me this. I have no idea where she found it. Probably in a garden centre. She seems to love garden centres. This is Soldiers, Great Stories of War and Peace, edited by Max Hastings. Again, it's a typical bog book. You can just read bits at a time, just running through different stories associated with wars all around the world. and soldiers and their stories. Kind of just one of those fun little things that, as I say, typical when you're sitting on the loo and you just want to read some stuff. I think it's brilliant. So anyway, there you go. That was my haul. Very nice indeed. Much appreciated to everybody. Thank you. Not that anybody will be watching it who's bought me these, but anyway, that's that. So on to 2023 and my sort of resolution stroke plans. Well, I just mentioned already, I'm thinking I'm going to round out some of the collections I've already got. So the Napoleonics, I've got loads of them, and I've got quite a few unpainted, so I want to finish those off. Looks like now I'm doing a Bavarian and a Polish brigade or two, and also some middle guard by the look of it as well. So that'll be happening. I've also got some thoughts, as I say, about rounding out things like the Hanoverians. The Prussians could do with a bit more work as well. Russians are pretty much there, I think, now. Couple more battalions for the Russians should be enough, but I think, you know, that's really my plan on that. Same with the I need to finish off some of the O group stuff. I made good progress with that earlier this year, and through 2023 I want to work through some of my O group stuff, because I think it's a great system and I really enjoyed it. So I've got the Germans, I've got the Russians, I've got thanks to Ken, I got a whole lot of Americans, and various others that I need to do, and I just need to finish off some of those. A lot of them are sort of half done, particularly the German force. I sort of, because we moved on to doing something else down the club, I sort of ran out of steam a bit and moved on to painting other things, and I really want to go back and finish off the painting those Germans and get that army done, and then maybe move on to the British, American, and then maybe a British force as well. We'll see. I did see that Dan has launched, just before Christmas, he launched the new O Group Barbarossa supplement, and so I'm sure that Jono and I will be playing games from that down the club of O Group, just working our way through some of the sort of Russian early war campaigns, which I think are fascinating, really good fun to do. So that will definitely happen. I have also, I think my last year's resolution was to work through my Baron Wars figures. I've got a load of them to do, and I didn't do any of them this year, so I may get round to that. And I did also threaten to do a Dux Britannia force if I ever meet up with Martin to play a game, to have a go with that. And I've got all the figures, and they won't take long to do because they're not huge numbers, so that will happen. But my biggest project, I think, for 2023 is actually going to be a bit more focused on what I do, and also go back over some of my old figures. So excuse the shaky camera, I'll come down here. So in these boxes down here, all the way around here, and they're double ranked as well, so they're back through the back there as well, is all my 28mm ancient figures. There's thousands of them, and I haven't used them for years. They're not sorted out. Literally, when I moved everything into the cabin here, I just put them in boxes and sealed them up. So I want to get into those, rebase them, because most of them are really badly based. Yeah, you can see loads of it in there, look. masses and masses of them. And these boxes are all completely full, and they go, so they go too deep into the back there. So I want to rebase all of those, or a lot of them anyway. See what need reworking. Some of them will be painted to a very poor standard, some of them will be okay but just need a bit of touching up. I'm sure there's quite a few weapons that have come off them, so I want to work on those. And also in here is 15mm, so again 2 ranks deep in the back here, tray after tray after tray. There's the Indian elephants by the look of it there, Indian chariots and various other things in there. You can see there's masses of them here. Again, they could do a bit of TLC, they could do a bit of some medievals in there by the look of it, because I know that Dan Brown, when he was on our podcast on a Monday, said that he was planning to do an ancient rule set for a bit like O Group. I really would like to get my 15 mils and my 28 mils ready, because I love ancients, and if there's a decent rule set that's coming out, I want to work on them and get them ready. I mean, you know, these are very old figures, 15 mils. You can see they just need a bit of TLC. The basing needs redoing, everything needs a bit of rework. So I'm going to try and work my way through tray after tray. If nothing else, these need properly sort of working out what I've got and put it into boxes so I can actually find them properly, because, as I say, all I did was just literally transfer them in here and haven't really done much else. And same with the 28 mils, they need to be sorted through and sort of put into armies, or at least into types of units, so that I've got all the sort of, you know, Greek stuff in one area, all the Macedonians in another, all the barbarians, Vikings, all that stuff, and it all in there. There's all of those. There's Successor armies, Alexandrian armies, Indian armies, Galatian armies. Oh God, I can't even think. Medievals of various descriptions. So lots and lots and lots of options in there. So yeah, that's going to be one of the things I need to do this year. So there you go. That's my plans for 2023. As I say, not really New Year's resolutions. I guess my real resolution for 2023 is to fight some more battles. I am very lucky to have this room and this table. You can see I've got one set up here that I started to play. I only really get to the club once a week, but what I do want to try and do is use this facility, use this table a bit more, and actually play some solo games. At the end of this year, 2022, I started to play a lot of solo games, and I want to continue doing that and making sure that I make full use of it, because I've got all these figures, I've got all this space. Time is a little bit challenging, but if it's set up, I can leave it and just play a turn and then come back to it. So I promise, if you follow this channel, you'll see a load more games, because that's what I'll be doing, and that's my goal. So if you enjoyed what we've been doing so far, what I've been up to so far, please click that subscribe and like and all that good stuff, and follow, hit the notification, because you'll get more of the same in 2023. Just me playing my games and my wargaming journey, which was what this channel was all about to begin with. So thank you to everybody for your support through this year and previous years. Can't believe number of people who subscribe and watch the videos, and it's very gratifying. People find it entertaining, and it's lovely to do it. And I have to say, the actual YouTube hobby is as much fun almost as the gaming hobby. Really love it. Also, for my colleagues on the Plastic Crack, we have a right laugh, and it's wonderful to have mates like you guys out there. Considering we never met each other before we started to do that, I think all four of us are probably firm buddies now, that despite all the ribbing we do, or maybe it's because of the ribbing we do, we get on like a house on fire, and it's great to spend time with you virtually and increasingly together properly. So anyway, enough of the gushiness. I hope you have a great 2023, everybody. I hope 2023 is an awesome year for you all, and I hope you get as much hobby time as possible to get on and do what we all love. Stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you again soon. This is Dom, signing out.